Hi, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey today. So, this time around, we're going to be using the Guardian of the Night Tarot and then Spirit of the Animals. So, they both kind of have like animal vibes to them, which is kind of cool. Anyway, I don't really have much else to add to that. I hope you're all doing well. And yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. Alrighty, so we're going into Cancer season, so we're just going to start off with our Cancers. How are you? Tell me everything. These cards are kind of big. Let's see. We'll see how the shuffling goes. So we're just going to get an oracle card, like an overall vibe. And then, of course, we'll get some tarot to elaborate. We just need one card. That was like 5. There we go. Just one. Yep. These cards are so big. All right. It says, Puffin, partnership. Accept yourself and your colorful personality. Feel confident about being you. You are a joy bringer. Let your community nourish and protect you. Ask for help. Teamwork will give you the best results. I love that. I'm not familiar with this type of bird either, so I'm kind of curious. I might Google it after. If I find anything good, I'll link it in the description or in a comment. The book says companionship, colorful, groups, loyalty, sensual, good parent, awkward, hard worker, fun. Puffins live in extremes of cold and seasonal darkness. They mate for life, and their love keeps them warm. I was wondering if they're one of those birds that mates for life. So there you go. Puffins, with their natural tuxedos, are dressed up in black and white with just a touch of color. They have a big attitude and are very expressive. Puffins are caring. I should just be holding the card up so you could be staring at that. Puffins are caring, thoughtful parents. When they leave their young to go to sea, they leave their offspring with relatives for safety. Puffins are clumsy creatures on land, but are incredible dancers in the sea. They belong to the water. Their lives are long, loving, and never lonely. Puffin people share these amazing qualities. They are fun, colorful, hardworking, loving, and full of contrasts. They like to dress up and strut their stuff. Puffin people can see the best qualities and beauty in everyone and never focus on their foibles. If Puffin is your totem, the desire for lifelong mate will be strong. Partnership is important to you. Cooperation to care for the young is a dominant point of focus. Warm companionship is your aim, so remember to nurture your relationships. I love that. Definitely curious if just kind of more of that comes out in the tarot. So let's just kind of see. I mean, of course, not everybody is looking for romantic partnership, but companionship in some capacity, right? So we have the World, we have the 8 of Pentacles, the Hierophant, 2 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, and the King of Wands. Very interesting. Let me just make sure everything is in frame. Oh, who's on the bottom here? Okay. All right, I kind of had to move some things around. It's kind of interesting how even color-wise, these two decks kind of go together, but they have nothing to do with each other, maybe it's just like the card that came out. It's so also interesting that this does have a big like community aspect to it. So that might be something that you're focusing on. Oh my goodness, and my throat literally just started like shutting down. So, like maybe you could be having a hard time expressing what you are trying to accomplish here, or something that has to do with like the throat and communication. I'm not sure. Like I literally had to stop the video and like cough a bunch, which came out of nowhere. So maybe you have a lingering cough or something, I don't know. But anyway, let's move on. So, like I said, there is definitely this kind of overall vibe about community. So even if it's not necessarily like romantic partnership, it certainly can be if that is something that you are interested or focusing on, or looking for. But even just kind of finding that, like that place of belonging, like Brene Brown talks a lot about belonging, and I'm obsessed with her. But just kind of like looking for your community, some, like I said before, some sort of companionship. So we start with the World card here, which is interesting because this is the end of a cycle. This is the end of the Fool's journey, right? We start with the Fool, we go through all of those 20 cards, 20 cards, and we end at the World. And when the World shows up, it means that whatever in the recent past or whatever is going on currently, there is a sense of completion with it. And sometimes it's a matter of needing to recognize that. Like, I mean, most times we already know that there's something that is ready to be closed out. We just don't necessarily either know how to do that, or it's a comfort thing, or it's kind of like we're like waiting for that next thing to show up before we close out the previous thing. So again, with the World showing up here, there's definitely something that is ready to be, like a cycle that is ready to be ended in order for a new cycle to begin. It's not just like, it ends and nothing else happens. It's the purpose of it is so that you can move on to the next step. Now it's paired here with the Two of Pentacles, and it's interesting because it kind of looks like these dolphins are swimming around this same circle, right? I mean, I'm just kind of going based off of color here, but there's also a lot of earth out here, which is interesting. The only water card we have is basically these two, the beginning and the end of the reading, because the Puffin was talking about water and how they belong to the sea. Obviously Cancer is a water sign, so that's interesting that we have so much earth and fire. So it's like, remaining grounded, but like finding your motivation and your reasons, like why to do something. So anyway, Pentacles, like I said, they're earth. It deals with anything in the 3D. It's anything that has value. It's our money, it's our time, it's our physical body also. And the Two of Pentacles generally talks about balancing responsibilities. Again, we have these two dolphins that are circling this one. I don't know if that's the moon or a sun. It could be both. There's these other little, there's dolphins down here too. And, even like an element of communication is like coming through with the dolphin also, because they are very chatty and communicative with each other, right? So this could even be something where it's like put your money where your mouth is type of thing. Like if there's something that you have been talking about for some time, then it's kind of like, since this is a 2, it's at the beginning of the journey through the suit of pentacles. So maybe it's time to start planning, like legitimately putting practical steps in place, even considering what practical steps you can take forward here with the 2 of Pentacles. And also, like I was saying before, right, like it is this kind of like balancing of responsibilities. So there might be a lot that you have to juggle, but it's also doable. And then we have the 8 of Pentacles, which again, right, it's the practical steps. And both of these cards are part of like why I was even getting that community kind of aspect, because, bees have a colony, right? It's like everybody has their place, they have their jobs, they have their specific things that they do in that community, and like it's a common goal, right? And same, I mean, this looks more like a hornet, but it's kind of, like the same in the sense of, working towards a common goal and having that colony kind of aspect to it. And the 8 of Pentacles is about putting in the work. It's understanding that you have to show up. You have to physically put your energy and your resources into a thing in order to get good at it, in order to, materialize it into the physical plane where we are. It's also interesting that both of these cards have, I think those are cherry blossoms. I wonder if it mentions what they are in the book. But it does have this feeling of like creating something inspiring or beautiful, right? Because I mean, both of these cards are very beautiful. And then that's paired with the Queen of Wands. I see the queens as when we embody the energy of the suit, like we have to recognize it within ourselves before we can, share or explain or teach other people how to embody the energy. And wands are fire. So, again, it's motivation. It's the motivation behind the actions that we take. It's passion, it's creativity, confidence. And the Queen of Wands is very confident to me. There's an authenticity about them too, because they're going to show up exactly how they are. Because it's kind of like there's no other way. Like they just can't be any other way. So, it's interesting that it's paired with the 8 of Pentacles, because maybe you have been putting some work into building your confidence, or really, kind of breaking down the layers of, even thinking layers with this wasp nest here, because it is made in layers. So maybe you have been just kind of exploring that about yourself. And, we can see this crow is handing them this wand here. It kind of feels like this, like, initiation or like rite of passage or something kind of along those lines. I love that. And, lionesses being a symbol of strength, independence. So again, right, I mean, definitely building something, or just, working on something that is authentic to you. Maybe you've even been, working on yourself in the capacity of, so that you can find your ideal partnership. like kind of finding that like fairy tale, the type of stuff that you see in movies type of thing that's not toxic and childish, and it's like mature, it's grown up, it's supportive, it's fiery, right? Like full of passion. I love that. And then we have the Hierophant, which is the card of Taurus. So like I said, all of these cards here are earth cards. Maybe you have a lot of earth, in your chart. Maybe you have a lot of earth, kind of people around you. Maybe it is just like a focus on like staying grounded. But, the Hierophant is about higher learning. It's passing along knowledge. It could be a mentor, whether you're the mentor or the mentee. It's traditional institution, so it could be marriage, could be divorce, could be traditional work. All of those things are kind of wrapped in the Hierophant, but it's like more about like kind of passing along these ideologies or these teachings that people are kind of interested, because we have these mice down here. This one is kind of standing up on a pedestal. So again, right, I mean, this could be a position that you want to be in. You could be one of these folks down here. But it's more about like, if you're down here, then you're learning. You're kind of soaking up all of this knowledge that whoever this figure would be is teaching. So it could even be, especially with it being after the Eight of Pentacles, it could be a course. It could be a field of study, learning something new. But also, we do it with it coming after the Eight of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. This could just be like the next step for you, right? Like after this here, this could be the natural next step, because it's paired with the King of Wands. And of course we have the Queen and the King here, so this could be a partnership, of course, and especially since we have the Puffin card out here, and that was talking about relationships and mating for life, and so it definitely could be that. Absolutely. You could be meeting somebody, and again, it doesn't even have to be necessarily romantic. If that's what you're going for, then yes, of course, right? But like if you're not looking for that, then this would just be being able to partner with the right person, like making the like perfect connection for whatever it is that you are looking to do, whether that has to do with work or, a business that you want to start, or, again, even having to do with your healing in some capacity, right? I mean, it could literally be anything, because the King of Wands is the highest expression of the suit, right? So we go from the Queen of Wands, we embody the energy, we recognize the energy within ourselves, like we live that energy, right? And then we progress to the King of Wands, where we can now share that with other people. We can be that mentor, we can be that guide. People would seek you out for advice. I love that. Like, I love how these two seem like they go well together. This would be kind of like putting your thing out there, making videos if that's what you want to do, or writing a blog if that's what you want to do, And then we have the Ten of Cups at the bottom of the deck, which again is a card that talks about community. It's family, chosen or biological. We have all these different animals on here. There's a diverse group here, but it's like they've all come together, or they've all been brought together even for like a singular purpose. Or maybe it's because of whatever, this kind of whole thing is in here. It could be building a family. The Ten of Cups is like the minor arcana card to the Sun card. So it's, it's happiness, it's bliss, it's everybody's feeling purposeful and fulfilled, right? So again, like if there's, and not to mention, right, like if you are a Cancer rising, Jupiter is in your 11th house right now, and it'll be in your 11th house for the next year. So the 11th house is about friendships, groups, communities. It can be social media, right? So it's kind of interesting that this is, coming out that way. Obviously, if you're a Cancer sun, then it would depend on, whatever house Cancer is for you. You can take a look at that. And Jupiter is in Taurus. So, that's what you would want to take a look at, because we have Taurus out here. We have a lot of Earth out here too. Not that it even necessarily has to do with that, but I just wanted to mention that. So anyway, it's just like, whatever it is that you are like working on, right? Or like thinking about, it's kind of like it's go time, and it will work out probably better than you anticipate. I also love that the Queen of Wands is looking at the King of Wands. It just happened to work out that way, Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.